right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday. And if you think you've seen this review before, wait a minute, 2010 Brunello? Did you do that already? Yes, we did. And we're going to keep doing it until we're out of 2010 Brunello, because this is every time we send an email out on 2010 Brunello, we sell a ton of wine. This is a highly anticipated vintage and a great vintage. Believe the hype. It is as good as any vintage that I've ever tasted on release, if not better. So, you know, we showed some different wines this time. That's right, Col d'Orcia, a new one, only available in half bottles at this time. A lot of these wines still haven't made their way in. The distributors are still working through selling through the 2009 vintage. So as these wines become available, we will send them out to you, our wine drinking people, to let you know what's new and what's the latest and greatest thing coming out from Montalcino. This is one of the oldest, most established wineries in Montalcino, now owned by the Cinzano family, so very well financed. And this is a classic Brunello, that lovely bouquet of red cherry, fresh herbs, sage, kind of smoky tobacco, tar-like notes, rose petals, smooth and silky on the tongue. These 2010s have this lovely, gorgeous fruit, similar to 2007, but they have wonderful structure, similar to 2006. And this wine has that lovely smoky character and that floral nuance in the nose showing through the finish. Excellent juice. I don't think it got a vote for first place, but a very good wine and a lot of great stuff on the table. The Camigliano, to me, one of the lightest, most elegant of all the Brunellos on the table. This wine had hints of dried meat, smoke, and herbs on the nose, that along with that red cherry fruit, really juicy on the tongue, really forward and drinkable. To me, one of the most forward and drinkable. Had a nice rosemary and the dried meat character through the nose, through the finish from the nose. And this wine had no votes for first, but did get a second place vote and a solid offering. Actually, 2 second place votes. Excellent juice at $50. One of the better values on the table. The Gorelli La Potesine Brunello, very structured and dense. This wine we could have showed possibly at the end of the tasting. Had that lovely black spice, that tar, complementing that dark cherry fruit. Nice intensity here, that sage and herbal note as well. Big and chewy wine. This wine's got a firm hand of tannins right now, even on the second day. It's got the fruit to last, but this wine needs a little bit of time. Still lovely balance, but I want to taste this one again in 10 years. Most excellent juice. Gianni Brunelli, we could have showed this wine first. Definitely more elegant. The restaurateur turned vintner in Tuscany here. This one's got a beautiful nose of red cherry berry fruit and flowers, black tea, anise, porcini mushrooms, underbrush, sage. Really thick and viscous on the tongue. This one's got a solid core of red berry fruit, that herbs, that floral, that red licorice spice, and a strong hand of acidity here. Classic vintage for Brunello. This wine got a vote for second place. Very fine and elegant. Most excellent juice. I like this wine once again a lot. Second time that we've showed it. Castigliano del Bosco, a classic producer I don't know much about, but this one was another bigger style to me. A solid core of red cherry fruit, dried meats, fresh herbs, dried floral notes, big and chewy on the tongue. This wine's got some firm tannins here as well, and that chalky fine tannin coming through at the end, but that floral dark spice and smoky note also. Very well balanced, excellent juice, maybe just a little bit too big for my taste, but very good wine, excellent juice nonetheless. Poggio Antico was the winner of the night. This wine had the most unique bouquet, and on this showed the same way the first time. It had this just exotic bouquet of floral, red licorice, spices, and just a floral character really stood out in this wine, but rich and unctuous on the tongue, that rich cherry liqueur-like fruit showing, and it's one of the highest altitude vineyards in Montalcino, so you had wonderful freshness in this wine, and that lovely floral character just lasting through the finish. This wine got this Poggio Antico got 2 votes for first place. Not the wine of the night, the Altesino wine of the night, Poggio Antico, one of my favorite wines of the night, as was the Canalicchio di Sopra. We showed this wine a couple times. Most excellent juice, a great vintage in Montalcino with excellent structure and depth. This wine's got an array of dark spices, dried herbs, porcinis, red cherry fruit, balsam, and just really rich on the palate, but this wine's showing lovely fruit and silky tannins, even though this wine needs a little bit of time. Wonderful balance and concentration. One of the crowd favorites again this evening. 1 vote for first and 3 votes for second place. Most excellent juice. Like I said, the Altesino being the wine of the night. That wine had that pretty floral character to it and just a lovely richness. The Val di Cava showing why it's one of the greatest wines in Montalcino. This wine had a lovely intensity, wild strawberry coulis-like fruit, pretty floral notes, very exotic, incense, smoked meat. Like, even more intense as the wine opens up. This wine needs a day to open up in the glass, and Vincenzo will tell you that his wine will last your whole entire lifetime. That's why I've got wine bottles from both of my kids' birthday are sitting in the cellar waiting for them to become old enough to drink them. And then the Donatella Cinelli Colombini Brunello Di Montalcino. This wine I didn't know much about, but beautiful perfume and spice on the nose here. Very big bouquet, tar, rose petals, red licorice, some smoky tobacco notes to the red cherry fruit. Even bigger on the second day. This wine needs a little time to open up, but has this lovely seductive red berry fruit and nice structure and depth. Another blockbuster from the 2010 vintage. Most excellent juice. That's what we had to drink at our 2010 Brunello tasting at Scarpetta. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.